Tim Tebow, born in 1987, rose to fame as the face of Florida Gators football from 2006 to 2009. During his college career, he captured the 2007 Heisman Trophy and helped lead Florida to 2 BCS national championships in 2006 and 2008. With his power running, leadership, and larger-than-life presence, Tebow became one of the most celebrated players in college football history. In the 2010 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos took a chance on him with the 25th overall pick. By 2011, Tebow was starting, and despite constant criticism of his unconventional throwing motion and accuracy, he delivered one of the most unforgettable playoff moments of the decade, an 80-yard touchdown pass in overtime to defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild card round. That game secured the Broncos' first playoff victory since 2005, but the magic faded quickly. Tebow was traded to the New York Jets in 2012 and later had brief stints with the Patriots and Eagles without making a lasting impact. After pursuing a baseball career with the New York Mets organization, he returned to football in 2021 with the Jacksonville Jaguars, this time as a tight end. The experiment ended after just one preseason game, and he was released. Tebow's NFL journey may have fallen short, but his dominance in college remains untouchable, proof that even the most legendary college careers don't always translate to professional success. Vince Young, born in Houston, Texas, in 1983, became a college football legend on January 4, 2006, at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Facing USC in what's been called the game of the century, Young delivered 467 total yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and sealed a 41-38 Texas victory, with a game-winning run with just 19 seconds left. That performance not only brought the Longhorns a national championship, but also cemented his status as one of the greatest players in college football history. Selected 3rd overall by the Tennessee Titans in the 2006 NFL Draft, Young carried sky-high expectations into the pros. His rookie year looked promising. He was named AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, earned a Pro Bowl selection, and even became the first rookie quarterback ever to make the Pro Bowl. For a brief moment, it seemed the magic from Texas had followed him to the NFL. But the success didn't last. By 2008, inconsistency, injuries, and clashes with coaches overshadowed his talent. Though he managed a comeback in 2009 with another Pro Bowl nod, the Titans eventually moved on. Short stints with the Eagles, Bills, and Browns followed, but his NFL career faded without reaching the heights once expected. Matt Leinart was born on May 11, 1983, in Santa Ana, California. By the early 2000s, he had become the face of USC football under head coach Pete Carroll, leading one of the most dominant stretches in college football history. As USC's starting quarterback from 2003 to 2005, Leinart went 37-2, guiding the Trojans to consecutive national championships in 2002 and 2004. He won the 2004 Heisman Trophy, collected the Walter Camp, Manning, and Unitas Awards, and was named Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year twice. Throughout his career, he threw for more than 10,600 yards and 99 touchdowns, solidifying his legacy as one of the most accomplished quarterbacks in college football. In the 2006 NFL Draft, Leinart was taken 10th overall by the Arizona Cardinals, expected to be the franchise quarterback of the future. His rookie season showed promise with over 2,500 passing yards and 11 touchdowns, but inconsistency and injuries quickly derailed his progress. Veteran Kurt Warner seized the starting role, leading Arizona to a Super Bowl while Leinart watched from the sidelines. Leinart spent 7 seasons in the NFL, including short stints with the Houston Texans and Oakland Raiders. By the end of his career, he had just 15 touchdowns, 21 interceptions, and 4,065 passing yards, far from the expectations of a top 10 pick. At USC, Matt Leinart is immortalized as a champion and a Heisman winner. But in the NFL, his story stands as a reminder that even the greatest college stars can struggle when the stage shifts to the professional game. By the way, I'm going to be posting a lot more interesting videos on the channel. I would greatly appreciate it if you could show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you. Johnny Manziel, born in Tyler, Texas in 1992, became one of the most electrifying figures in college football history. In 2012, as a redshirt freshman at Texas A&M, he threw for over 3,400 yards, rushed for more than 1,100, and scored a combined 43 touchdowns. His improvisational style stunned the SEC, highlighted by a legendary upset win over top-ranked Alabama. That same year, he made history as the first freshman ever to win the Heisman Trophy, also claiming the Davey O'Brien Award and SEC Freshman of the Year honors. In the 2013 Cotton Bowl, Manziel rushed for 229 yards, still an FBS Bowl record, while adding 4 total touchdowns in a dominant win over Oklahoma. Over 2 seasons, he compiled nearly 10,000 yards of offense and 93 total touchdowns, cementing himself as one of college football's most dynamic playmakers. The Cleveland Browns made him the 22nd overall pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, hoping Johnny Football could bring his magic to the pros. But the transition was rocky. In 2 seasons, he appeared in 14 games, throwing for just 1,675 yards with 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Struggles on the field were compounded by controversies often, from missed meetings and partying to high-profile investigations. By 2016, Cleveland cut ties, ending his brief NFL career. Attempts to revive his playing days in the CFL and other leagues never regained the spark he once had. Brian Bosworth, known to fans as the Boz, was one of the most dominant linebackers in college football during the mid-1980s. At the University of Oklahoma, he became the first player ever to win the Butkus Award twice, in 1985 and 1986. A 2-time unanimous All-American, he finished his college career with 395 tackles, led the Sooners in tackles all 3 seasons, and even set a school record with 22 tackles in a single game against Miami in 1986. Under Barry Switzer, his Sooners went 31-4-1, won 3 Big 8 titles, and made 3 straight Orange Bowl trips. The hype carried into the NFL when Bosworth was taken in the first round of the 1987 supplemental draft by the Seattle Seahawks. He signed a 10-year, $11 million contract, the largest rookie deal in league history at the time, and was expected to anchor Seattle's defense for years to come. But his pro career lasted only 24 games. Multiple shoulder injuries robbed him of his trademark power and speed, and he was forced into retirement by 1989 at just 25 years old. His career is often remembered for a single play in 1987, when Raiders running back Bo Jackson plowed through him at the goal line for a touchdown, a moment that defined the gap between his college dominance and his NFL reality. By the early 1990s, doctors said he had the shoulders of a 60-year-old, and his career was officially over. Ryan Leaf. Born May 15, 1976 in Great Falls, Montana, he became a college football sensation at Washington State. In 1997, he threw for nearly 4,000 yards and 34 touchdowns, leading the Cougars to a Pac-10 championship and their first Rose Bowl appearance in 67 years. That season earned him the Sammy Baugh Trophy, first-team All-American honors, and a third-place finish in the Heisman voting, the highest in school history. His success made him the number 2 overall pick in the 1998 NFL Draft, taken by the San Diego Chargers right after Peyton Manning. Expectations were enormous, but from the start, his rookie year was disastrous. He finished 3-6 as a starter, posting a passer rating of just 39.0, one of the lowest ever for a top draft pick. Across 4 seasons in the league, with stints at San Diego, Tampa Bay, Dallas, and Seattle, Leaf started 21 games, throwing 14 touchdowns against 36 interceptions, with a career passer rating of 50.0. His sideline outbursts and off-field controversies cemented his reputation as one of the NFL's most infamous busts. After football, his life spiraled into substance abuse, legal trouble, and even a prison sentence. Yet in recent years, Leaf has rebuilt himself, living in sobriety, becoming an analyst, speaker, and advocate for mental health. Tony Mandarich was born on September 23, 1966, in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. By the late 1980s, he was the most hyped offensive line prospect football had ever seen. At Michigan State, he became a 2-time Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year, a unanimous All-American, and an Outland Trophy finalist in 1988. At 6'6" and 330 pounds, with a 4.65 40-yard dash and 39 bench press reps, he was labeled by Sports Illustrated as the Incredible Bulk. In the 1989 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers selected Mandarich 2nd overall. He was taken ahead of Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders, all future Hall of Famers. Expectations were sky high, but reality hit hard. A lengthy preseason holdout delayed his development, and when he finally took the field, his play fell far short of the hype. By 1992, after just 3 seasons, he was out of Green Bay. Behind the scenes, Mandarich battled steroid use, alcohol, and painkiller addiction, struggles he later admitted publicly. His performance and substance issues turned him from the incredible bulk into the incredible bust, one of the NFL's most infamous cautionary tales. But in 1996, after 4 years away from the game, Mandarich resurfaced with the Indianapolis Colts. He started regularly, even blocking during Peyton Manning's rookie year in 1998 before retiring after 3 seasons. After football, Mandarich overcame his addictions and reinvented himself as a photographer, author, and motivational speaker. Dayne, born March 14, 1978 in Blacksburg, Virginia, was the ultimate symbol of college football dominance in the late 1990s. At Wisconsin, he bulldozed his way into history, winning the 1999 Heisman Trophy and setting the NCAA's all-time rushing record with 7,125 yards when bowl games are included. Nicknamed the Great Dane, he powered the Badgers to back-to-back Rose Bowl titles in 1999 and 2000, earning MVP honors in both games and collecting the Walter Camp, Maxwell, and Doak Walker Awards along the way. By the time he left Madison, he was a 3-time All-American and later a College Football Hall of Fame inductee. The New York Giants made him the 11th overall pick in the 2000 NFL Draft, expecting his bruising style to translate to the pros. But the transition proved difficult. Dayne never topped 770 rushing yards in a season and often faced scrutiny over his weight and conditioning. Across 8 NFL seasons with the Giants, Broncos, and Texans, he finished with 3,722 rushing yards and 28 touchdowns. Solid numbers, but a far cry from the dominance that once made him college football's most unstoppable force. Dayne's story stands as one of football's sharpest contrasts, a record-shattering college icon whose pro career never matched the legend. Rashaan Salaam, born October 8, 1974 in San Diego, California, was a college football sensation at the University of Colorado. In 1994, he rushed for over 2,000 yards, scored 24 touchdowns, and swept the nation's top honors, winning the Heisman Trophy, the Doak Walker Award, and the Walter Camp Award, as he led the Buffaloes to an 11-1 season and a number 3 national ranking. The Chicago Bears drafted him 21st overall in 1995, and his rookie season seemed to confirm the hype. Salaam rushed for 1,074 yards and 10 touchdowns, earning NFC Rookie of the Year honors. For a moment, it looked like a star had arrived, but injuries soon took their toll. Knee and hamstring problems in 1996 slowed him to under 500 yards, and by 1997, a broken leg and torn ankle ligaments all but derailed his career. Ball security became a problem, with 9 fumbles haunting his time in Chicago. Off the field, Salaam later admitted that marijuana use sapped his discipline and focus, compounding the setbacks. After just 3 seasons and 33 games with the Bears, his NFL career was effectively over. Short stints with Cleveland, Green Bay, the XFL, and the CFL followed, but the promise never returned. Ware, born in 1968 in Texas, became a college football sensation at the University of Houston. In 1989, running the explosive run-and-shoot offense, he threw for 4,699 yards and 46 touchdowns in just 11 games, setting 27 NCAA records. That season, he won the Heisman Trophy, becoming the first black quarterback to do so, along with the Davey O'Brien Award, cementing his place as one of the most dominant passers in college football history. The Detroit Lions made Ware the 7th overall pick in the 1990 NFL Draft, hoping his record-shattering success would translate to the pros. But the NFL was a different world. In 4 seasons with Detroit, he appeared in only 14 games with 6 starts, completing 83 of 161 passes for 1,112 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. The Lions' offense never fully adapted to his run-and-shoot style, and Ware struggled to gain footing behind a team built around Barry Sanders. Brief stops with the Raiders, Jaguars, and a move to the CFL followed, but his NFL career faded quickly compared to his collegiate glory. Gino Torretta, born in Pinole, California in 1970, became a household name in college football at the University of Miami. As the Hurricanes' starter, he led the program to dominance, winning the 1991 national championship and compiling a remarkable 26-2 record under center. In 1992, he threw for over 3,000 yards and 19 touchdowns, guiding Miami through an undefeated regular season and earning the Heisman Trophy, along with nearly every major quarterback award that year. Despite his decorated resume, Torretta's NFL career never matched his college glory. Drafted in the 7th round of the 1993 NFL Draft by the Minnesota Vikings, he was quickly labeled a system quarterback, a player whose success stemmed more from Miami's powerhouse talent than his own NFL-ready skills. Torretta bounced between several teams: the Vikings, Lions, 49ers, Seahawks, and Colts, rarely seeing the field. His only real moment came in the 1996 season finale with Seattle, when he threw a 32-yard touchdown pass. But that brief highlight stood out in an otherwise negligible pro career, where his final stats totaled just 5 completions, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Eric Crouch, born in Omaha, Nebraska in 1978, was the heart of Nebraska's option offense at the turn of the century. By the time he left Lincoln, he had rushed for over 3,400 yards and passed for more than 4,400, joining a rare group of players to surpass both marks. In 2001, he led the Cornhuskers to the national title game, throwing for 1,510 yards and rushing for 1,115 more, earning the Heisman Trophy, the Walter Camp Award, and the Davey O'Brien Award. But the NFL never embraced him as a quarterback. Drafted in the 3rd round in 2002 by the St. Louis Rams, Crouch was asked to switch to wide receiver. He resisted, briefly retired, then resurfaced with the Packers and later the Chiefs, but never played a regular season snap at quarterback. Short stints in NFL Europe and the Canadian Football League followed, yet his professional career never matched the promise of his college days. Jason White was born in 1980 in Tuttle, Oklahoma, and became a legend at the University of Oklahoma. His journey was marked by resilience. After suffering 2 devastating ACL tears in 2001 and 2002, he fought back through reconstructive surgeries to lead the Sooners on college football's biggest stage. In 2003, White threw for over 3,800 yards and 40 touchdowns, winning the Heisman Trophy along with the Davey O'Brien Award and AP Player of the Year, solidifying his place in history as one of the greatest comeback stories in the sport. But while his college career was dazzling, the NFL had other plans. Scouts questioned his durability, and in 2005, White went undrafted. He briefly signed a 2-year deal with the Tennessee Titans, but his knees couldn't withstand the demands of professional football. By August of that same year, he announced his retirement, admitting they were simply too weak to continue. Chris Weinke, born July 31, 1972 in St. Paul, Minnesota, took one of the most unusual paths to college football stardom. After 6 years in minor league baseball, he enrolled at Florida State and, at age 28, became the oldest player to ever win the Heisman Trophy in 2000. That season, he threw for over 4,100 yards, earned the Davey O'Brien and Johnny Unitas Awards, and left Tallahassee with a 32-3 record as a starter, a national championship, and multiple school passing records. In the 2001 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers selected him in the 4th round, 106th overall, hoping his maturity and success would carry over to the pros. But his rookie season became infamous. He won his debut, then lost 15 straight, finishing 1-15, one of the worst records in league history. He passed for 2,931 yards with 11 touchdowns against 19 interceptions and a 62.0 rating. Weinke would only win 1 more game as a starter in 2006, before fading into a backup role. Troy Smith, born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1984, was the heartbeat of Ohio State football in the mid-2000s. In 2006, he delivered one of the most dominant seasons in college history, completing 67% of his passes for over 2,500 yards, throwing 30 touchdowns against just 5 interceptions, and guiding the Buckeyes to an undefeated regular season. His leadership and precision earned him the Heisman Trophy in a landslide, collecting 801 first-place votes and 86.7% of the total, one of the most decisive victories the award had ever seen. But the leap to the NFL told a different story. Drafted in the 5th round by the Baltimore Ravens in 2007, Smith entered the league with questions about his size and long-term potential. He saw the field as a spot starter, showing flashes of mobility and arm strength, but never secured the role of a full-time starter. Brief stints followed with the San Francisco 49ers, the UFL, and the CFL, but none rekindled his college magic. Ki-Jana Carter was born in 1973 in Westerville, Ohio, and rose to stardom as a running back at Penn State. By 1994, he had become the centerpiece of Joe Paterno's explosive offense, rushing for 1,539 yards and 23 touchdowns while averaging nearly 8 yards per carry. His defining moment came in the 1995 Rose Bowl, where he opened the game with an 83-yard touchdown run, leading the Nittany Lions to an undefeated season and a decisive win over Oregon. That performance cemented his status as the top prospect in the nation, and the Cincinnati Bengals selected him with the first overall pick in the 1995 NFL Draft. But destiny shifted in an instant. In his very first preseason game, on just his third carry, Carter tore the anterior cruciate ligament in his knee, a devastating injury that cost him his rookie year and the explosiveness that once made him unstoppable. Though he returned to the field, his career never matched the promise of his college days. Across 7 NFL seasons with the Bengals, Washington, and New Orleans, he finished with 1,144 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns, fewer yards than he gained in his final year at Penn State alone. Lawrence Phillips was born in 1975 and rose to national prominence at Nebraska, where he powered the Cornhuskers to back-to-back national championships in 1994 and 1995. In 1994 alone, he rushed for over 1,700 yards and 16 touchdowns, finishing 8th in Heisman voting and cementing himself as one of the most feared backs in college football. Despite a suspension in 1995 after an off-field arrest, he returned in the Fiesta Bowl and helped secure Nebraska's second straight title. In 1996, the St. Louis Rams drafted Phillips 6th overall, even trading away Jerome Bettis to make room for him. The gamble didn't pay off. Though he flashed talent and scored 12 touchdowns with the Rams, inconsistency and off-field issues led to his release after less than 2 seasons. Brief stints with the Dolphins and 49ers followed, but his career never stabilized. His missed block in 1999 contributed to quarterback Steve Young's career-ending concussion, and soon after, he was suspended for refusing to practice. Away from the field, Phillips's legal troubles deepened. He was repeatedly arrested for domestic violence, and by 2005, he was sentenced to more than 31 years in prison for multiple violent crimes, including driving his car into a group of teenagers. In 2015, he was charged with murdering his cellmate. A year later, at age 40, he was found dead in his prison cell. Once a national title hero, Lawrence Phillips' story remains one of football's most tragic downfalls. Charles Rogers, born May 23, 1981, in Saginaw, Michigan, looked destined for NFL greatness. At Michigan State, he became one of the most dominant wide receivers in college football history, hauling in 135 catches for 2,821 yards and 27 touchdowns across 2 seasons. In 2002, he won the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver, earned unanimous All-American honors, and left East Lansing as the program's all-time leader in touchdown receptions. His brilliance made him the #2 overall pick by the Detroit Lions in the 2003 NFL Draft. But Rodgers' pro career unraveled almost immediately. After a promising start as a rookie, he broke his collarbone in practice just 5 games into the 2003 season. The following year, on the very first series of the season opener, he broke the same collarbone again, wiping out his 2004 campaign. By 2005, injuries had slowed him, and a 4-game suspension for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy further derailed his career. Over 3 seasons in Detroit, he played just 15 games, finishing with 36 receptions, 440 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Released before the 2006 season, Rodgers' NFL career ended as one of the most disappointing for a top draft pick. Trent Richardson was born in Pensacola, Florida, in 1991, and at Alabama, he became one of the most feared running backs in college football. In 2011, he rushed for over 1,600 yards and 21 touchdowns, winning the Doak Walker Award, being named SEC Offensive Player of the Year, and finishing 3rd in the Heisman Trophy voting. A 2-time national champion and unanimous All-American, he looked destined for NFL stardom. The Cleveland Browns drafted Richardson 3rd overall in 2012, making him the highest selected running back since Reggie Bush. His rookie year showed flashes of promise. 950 rushing yards and 11 total touchdowns, tying Jim Brown's rookie record. But even then, efficiency concerns emerged as he averaged just 3.6 yards per carry, the lowest among rookie backs that season. By his second year, Cleveland shipped him to the Indianapolis Colts for a first-round pick, a blockbuster trade that stunned the league. In Indianapolis, his production only sank further, averaging barely 3 yards per carry and never posting a single 60-yard rushing game. By March 2015, less than 17 months after acquiring him, the Colts released him. Peter Warrick was one of college football's brightest stars of the late 1990s. At Florida State, He became a two-time consensus All-American, a two-time first-team All-ACC selection, and the MVP of the 2000 Sugar Bowl, where he led the Seminoles to a national championship. His highlight reels defined an era in Tallahassee, with 32 career receiving touchdowns, placing him among FSU's all-time leaders. In 2000, the Cincinnati Bengals made him the 4th overall pick in the NFL Draft, expecting him to bring that same electrifying playmaking ability to Sundays. Warrick showed glimpses of that potential, most notably in 2003 when he caught 79 passes for 819 yards and 7 touchdowns. But across 6 NFL seasons, 5 with the Bengals and 1 with the Seahawks, he never became the dominant star many projected. Injuries, inconsistency, and a lack of explosiveness at the pro level left him with 2,991 receiving yards and 18 touchdowns before exiting the league. Today, Warrick's name lives in 2 very different legacies: a Florida State legend who delivered a national title, and a top 5 NFL pick remembered more for what could have been than what was. Did I miss any names? Please add them in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, I will be posting more interesting videos on the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Thank you very much.